Hey guys! By popular demand, Leslie asked to see my pets, so I'm out of breath because I just chased him. So this is Henry. He's very mad, but I wanted to show him to you. I've had Henry since he was a little baby. He's very long. I got him from Animal Control Center in Philadelphia, which is basically just like a place where people dump their unwanted pets or they find strays. He was a very tiny kitten. Yeah, now he's old and kind of fat, and he hates me sometimes. Like right now he has his claws out. Stevie likes to chase him around the house and bite him, but he actually kind of plays with her, which is nice. Hi, Hen. But yeah, he's got really cool green eyes. When he was a kitten, he had to have a bell tied around his neck because he would run out of the apartment and go anywhere in the building. I did lose him one time. He ran all the way downstairs to the basement of our building. But he's pretty cool. He likes to knock over my plants in the middle of the night and scratch on my door at 4 in the morning. And his ears are back because he's angry. What's up? So yeah, that's one of my pets, Henry. He's named after a writer, if you want to look him up, Henry David Thoreau. And then I named Fitz after another writer, F. Scott Fitzgerald. So that's your clickbait for today. If you saw a cat and you wanted to log in to see, that's Henry Cat. All right, I should actually get to the lesson, right? Henry, you're mad that I just used you? You're shedding so much. He's very confused why he's up here. Do you want to get down? Do you want to eat? You're hungry? You're purring so loud right now. All right, I'm gonna let you down. Don't scratch me. Can you get down? Whew. All right, I gotta open the door to let him out. Hold on one sec. All right, now to the real stuff. Yesterday again, yeah, views are great. We had almost, all students watch the video, it looked like. We had one person hit the dislike button. I don't appreciate that. Don't be doing that. Only likes. The 8 people who liked it, shout out to you. Also, shout out for, we got some people leaving comments. Minor says he studies a little bit, his vocab. Steph asked if I played the guitar. I do. Not well, but I mess around. Leslie was the one that asked for the pets. Julia asked for me to show my fridge. There's nothing exciting there, but maybe next week's episode we could see the fridge. And Justin keeps saying he's doing his work, but I'm not seeing it turned in. All right, so that's it for the comment section. I kind of like that. So if you leave a comment, I'll shout you out. I'll reply to you in tomorrow's video. Okay, so today you guys are starting off, you're gonna obviously open day 10. That's in your classwork. I feel like I have cat hair everywhere now. So I'm opening it up. I'm gonna just check out the do now for today, and the do now says, look at these pretty notes. Do you believe good things can last forever? Why or why not? That's pretty deep, right? So I'd probably write about, if I don't believe that good things can last forever, I'd probably write an example of that in my life. If I do think that something good can last, I would also give an example. Okay, so try your best to write 10 lines. Some of you still aren't, and it's May. If you can't think of anything, literally just write what you did yesterday at home, or literally anything. Write me a letter. Write the lyrics to your favorite song. No, don't do that. That's just like copying and pasting. Just write something that's 10 lines. It will really help. All right, once you're done your journal, you should pause the video, stop, and study your words. We have reckon, frustration, stagger, smoldering, all of the words that you will be tested on Friday. And some people still didn't turn theirs in from last week, so you were getting a 0 until you get that in. All right, now we are going to start to read. So we're starting on page 65, and we are only going to read to get to 72. So we're going to stop halfway. We're going to probably stop at 67. We're only going to read 2 pages today. That sounds good. 2 pages, we can handle that. All right, and then tomorrow you'll read from 67 to 72, and tomorrow you will do your exit ticket. I think some people are still getting that confused. When you open notes, the first day you just do your do now, 1 and 2. The second day, you do 3 and 4 and your exit ticket. I tried to just make it a little bit easier, a little less work on your end. All right, let's read. All right, so we left off on page 65. It's where the capital letters say the next 4. All right, if you want to maybe open it in a new tab, pause the video, and then you can listen to me kind of read along. The questions we're listening for are somewhere. The first one is the only one that's going to be directly about the outsiders. It says, how do Johnny and Ponyboy view Dally differently? So I'm probably going to be looking for 2 quotes in this answer. I want to know how Pony sees Dallas. I want to know how Johnny sees Dallas. All right, and the next one is just multiple choice. You'll highlight your answers. Ponyboy is going to recite a poem, and that's why I'm wearing my Stay Gold shirt today. He's going to read us a poem, and we're going to just, like you would any do now in my class. Remember when you guys used to get the lovely poems on your desk when you came in? You're just going to highlight what you think is the best possible answer, okay? All right, 65. The next 4 or 5 days were the longest days I've ever spent in my life. We killed time by reading Gone with the Wind and playing poker. Johnny sure did like that book, although he didn't know anything about the Civil War and even less about plantations, and I had to explain a lot of it to him. It amazed me how Johnny could get more meaning out of some of the stuff in there than I could. I suppose I was supposed to be the deep one. Johnny had failed a year of school and never made good grades. He couldn't grasp anything that was shoved at him too fast. And I guess his teachers thought he was just plain dumb, but he wasn't. He was a little slow to get things, and he liked to explore things once he did get them. He was especially stuck on the Southern gentlemen. He was impressed by their manners and charm. So again, they're reading that book that Johnny picked up at the grocery store. It actually was like a really famous movie, Gone with the Wind. I'm blanking on the whole storyline here, but I guess in the book, there's people that live in the South that are men, and they're just like really polite, and they're gentlemen, and they act a certain way, and Johnny likes that. I bet they were cool old guys, he said. His eyes were glowing. After I read that part about them riding into sure death because they were gallant, they remind me of Dally. Dally, I said, startled. Shoot, he ain't got more manners than I do. And you saw how he treated those girls the other night? Soda's more like those Southern boys. Okay, so we can stop here because this is our answer for number 1. Our text evidence for how Johnny views Dallas. Johnny thinks that Dallas is like brave. If we look up the word gallant, he thinks Dallas is like brave and cool. It says in the line, they were cool old guys. They remind me of Dally. So the words or phrases that let you know are cool and gallant. So that's how Johnny sees Dallas. The next line, he ain't got more manners than I do. You saw how he treated those girls. So the 2 things that Pony feels about Dallas are he doesn't have manners and he's disrespectful towards girls, okay? Yeah, in the manners bit and the charm too, I guess, Johnny said slowly. But one night, I saw Dally getting picked up by the fuzz, and he kept real cool and calm the whole time. They was getting him for breaking out a window of a school building, and it was 2-Bit who did that, and Dally knew it, but he just took the sentence without batting an eye or denying it. That's gallant. Okay, so more evidence if you wanted. Dallas got in trouble once for something that his friend did, and he took the blame. So Johnny thinks that's brave. That was the first time that I realized the extent of Johnny's hero worship for Dally Winston. Of all of us, Dally was the one that I liked the least. He didn't have Soda's understanding, or Dash, or Two-Bit's humor, or Derry's Superman qualities. But I realized that these three appealed to me because they were like heroes in novels that I read. Dally was real. I liked my books and clouds and sunsets. Dally was so real that he scared me. Johnny and I never went to the front of the church. You could see the front from the road, and sometimes kids rode their horses by on their way to the store. Wow, this kind of tells you how far away they are from home, that people ride their horses to the store. They're definitely in the country. So we stayed in the very back, usually sitting on the steps and looking across the valley. We could see for miles, see the ribbon of the highway and the small dots on the houses and cars. We could watch the sunset since the back faced east, but I loved to look at the colors of the fields and the soft shading of the horizon. One morning I woke up earlier than usual. Johnny and I slept huddled together for warmth. Dally had been right when he said it would get cold where we were going. Being careful not to wake Johnny up. I went to sit on the steps and smoke a cigarette. The dawn was coming then, and the lower valley was covered with a mist, and sometimes little pieces of it broke off and floated away in the small clouds. The sky was lighter in the east, and the horizon was a thin gold line. The clouds changed from gray to pink, and the mist was touched with gold. There was a silent moment, when everything held its breath, and the sun rose. It was beautiful. Golly, Johnny's voice beside me made me jump. That sure was pretty. Yeah, I sighed, wishing that I had some paint to do a picture with while the sight was still fresh in my mind. The mist was what was pretty, Johnny said. All gold and silver. I said, trying to blow a smoke ring. Too bad it can't stay like that all the time. Nothing gold can stay. I was remembering a poem I read once. What? All right, so these are our last questions will be based on this poem, and then this is where we'll end for today. So he's reciting a poem. It's by Robert Frost. It's called Nothing Gold Can Stay, and it's about this idea that, can good things last forever? All right, nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. All right, if you wanted to, also, we could take a second to do what we normally would with a poem. So it's literally about, things in nature, how they start and how they end, right? Like in the spring, things are like green and awesome, and then in the fall things start to die, in the winter, but the deeper meaning is that good things don't always last. And then our capture, I would challenge you guys maybe in the comments to tell me, do you see alliteration? Do you see that sound repetition, like letters repeated? There's rhyme, there's imagery, there's allusion, which we don't talk about all the time, but if the author talks about Eden, if you Google who Eden is, you guys probably know from Bible stories and stuff. Eden, it is the garden where Adam and Eve were, so it's like a really beautiful place. So lots of capture here, lots of author's craft moves. This poem is really well known. A lot of people have it memorized. So anyway, you should pause the video and look at this poem as you answer the 3 questions that I have for you. So it says, what is the theme of the text? What does gold represent? And which phrase supports that answer? Okay, so try your best for that. And let's finish up this section. I think I said I wanted to get to the bottom of 67. Johnny was staring right at me. Where'd you learn that? That's what I meant. Robert Frost wrote it. He meant more to it than I'm getting though. I was trying to find meaning that the poet had in mind, but it eluded me. I always remembered it because I never quite got what he meant by it. You know, Johnny said slowly, I never noticed the colors and the clouds and stuff until you kept reminding me about them. It seems like they were never there before. He thought for a minute. Your family sure is funny. What happens to be so funny about it? I asked stiffly. Johnny looked at me quickly. I didn't mean nothing. I meant, well, Soda kind of looks like your mother did, but he acts just like your father. And Derry's the spitting image of your father, but he's not wild and laughing all the time like he was. He acts like your mother. And you don't act like either one. I know, I said. Well, I said, thinking this over. You ain't like any of the gang. I mean, I couldn't tell Two-Bit or Steve or Derry about the sunrise and clouds and stuff. I couldn't even remember that poem around them. I mean, they just don't dig. Just you and Soda Pop. Maybe Cherry Valance. Alright, that's where we're going to end. I went like a minute over. Sorry, today is not a 15-minute video. It was the cat. It was bringing Henry. Send me any messages with questions you guys have. You've been doing a great job of contacting me on Remind or texting me. And I will see you on this video tomorrow. Bye, guys.